I got some tips for you on how to truly retain what you read. Because somebody said once, if you want to keep a secret, put it in a book. All these successful people are laying the foundation for you. They're telling you step by step how they did it and how you can get ahead. Their ups and their downs. But me personally, I was never somebody that liked to read. But as you grow in self-improvement, you realize that all the entrepreneurs, all the successful people talk about how important and crucial reading really is. But me, I'm the type of person that I'd read one sentence 3 times and still not remember what it said. And then I'd be like, you know what? I read for today. I'm done. Put it away and then like never pick it up until months later. And the thing with self-improvement and reading, why it's crucial, is because you think other people are reading, especially in this space of self-improvement. You think everybody's reading 48 Laws of Power and all these things, but in reality, it's like, even in this minority of a niche, nobody's reading. They're really not reading like that. So I decided to get myself to sit down and be disciplined and to learn to like the process of reading and studying. You also got to find the ones that have the juicy stuff, the nutrients for your mind, the ones that can truly guide you. There's a lot of fast food self-improvement type books where it just gives you encouraging words but doesn't truly give you benefit. It just gives you motivation, inspiration. And that's the same for videos and podcasts. And you're going to find throughout this video that I'm constantly equating reading a book and podcasts and watching videos, because overall it's how to retain the things that you get input from so that you can turn it into output. Once again, the importance of reading is that these successful people like Alex Hormozi or whoever, right? They're sharing their ups and downs. They're sharing how they did it with you. And you reading, sitting down, puts you ahead of the competition because you're just jumping straight ahead. And the first tip I'm going to tell you, tip number 1, is don't just read to read. Don't be reading comic books or novels no. Read to study. Read to better yourself. Read to learn. Because if you're reading, watching, or listening to something that's not worth you applying, not worth you really learning, and you can't really gain something from it, then you're just wasting your time. But if you're going to read something that's truly giving you value, truly giving you the juicy stuff, the nutrition for your mind and for your success in life, get a notebook, pencil, pen, and jot down information. Get a highlighter and follow along with the key points that you must remember. And that goes into tip number 2, is truly read to become a student. You remember in English class when you'd read passages or whatever that you truly didn't really care about. It was about something that was irrelevant, but then you'd get questions like, well, explain this, and why did he say this, and what was the significance of this event. But this time, just take that and apply it to something that you're truly interested, which is in self-improvement, which is in growth, but in reading, and it'd be a lot more interesting and you get to actually learn. That's why I said read to be a student, and you're more likely to apply it more because it's something that you're actually interested in, as opposed to an irrelevant passage or packet or whatever, because you're more likely to dissect it and truly go into what it means to be disciplined, to what it means to run a business and all these things. For tip number 2 is literally what I mentioned in number 1. Actually take notes, summarize the key points. My uncle told me one thing, and if you can stick to one thing and you don't want to do anything else that's crazy that I mentioned, just one thing with reading and retaining information, and it's using a highlighter when you read. Go through reading with the highlighter, just the important things that are important to you that you can use or that you can apply. Having a highlighter boosts the benefits by like 50%. Like it just helps you it helps me way much more. And then you can always go back to the book and see what you highlighted and then already get the gist of it, already get the key points of what you just read. You avoid all the fluff, all the side stories, all the talking. You just go straight to the points. But if you want to go above and beyond, as you highlight, as you go through with the pen and the notebook, write it in your own words, write it in how you understand it. Like I said, it's almost like English class, but not in the boring type of way, because it's for your benefit, it's for your improvement, it's for something that you're actually interested in. The book is called How to Be the Top 1%, and then it says how to have discipline, and this is what happens when you hit a plateau and your willpower and your discipline goes down, and this is how to recover from it, and all this stuff. Like that stuff you want to be highlighting and writing down and putting it in your own words, because that's stuff that is important, that you need to know, that nobody else truly knows and that nobody else truly applies. Because when you could explain it to yourself in a way that you understand, they say that you're more likely to retain something when you can teach somebody else it. So what you're doing is basically summarizing it and reading it and teaching it to yourself. And that goes into my 3rd tip, the last tip, and this is the most important one, the most vital one for your success. And it's, I see people get courses, get books, watch videos, and they'll learn from it. They'll watch the whole thing, sit down, take notes, whatever, but they don't apply it. So they leave all that talent, all that basically effort that they put in, they just leave it in a basket somewhere, put it on the shelf somewhere. And if you don't use it, you lose it. So the tip number 3, getting straight to the point, is apply the knowledge that you use, because knowledge that is not applied is not knowledge at all. I see this a lot too, is like you read chapter 1, how to do push-ups, and you kind of get like offended, and you're like, and so you read through it and then you go to chapter 2, do handstand push-ups, and then now you're looking silly trying to do handstand push-ups when you didn't even apply chapter 1 yet. Do not move forward without applying the initial thing that you learned first. That's the big difference. Those are the key things, because it's about the fundamentals. It's about the basics. Even if you feel like you already know, you're a student, you don't know nothing. And remember, you can't teach with a cup that's half full or full. You have to empty the cup, and whatever you know, forget it, and fill yourself with knowledge. You can't fly before you can crawl. And so if you're not willing to learn the fundamentals, the basics of that knowledge, and you feel like because you already know it, or because it might be too difficult to apply, whatever, what's going to happen? Just like a building, if the foundation is weak, it falls over. In fighting, if your stance is weak, you're going to fall over, you're going to get knocked down, you're going to get beat up. So if you're not willing to apply it to the fullest extent, then it's not beneficial to you. You're just wasting your time once again. That's the equivalent to just watching self-improvement videos to feel like you're doing something productive, but it's not productive at all if you're not doing the work. But if you apply it and you're going through it, how can you fail? You're not going to fail, because you're truly being a student, you're truly learning. And then not only that, but you're adding your own insight and your own notes and things that not only worked for, I guess, the person that was before that you're learning from, but also from your own experience. You can't fail like that, because then that brings you into the whole thing of mastery that I've talked about in videos before. So tip number 1 is, don't read just to read. Don't read just for, I'm going to read 10 books in 1 week, or none of that. Truly read and to learn. Have that intention is, I'm going to learn from this. I'm going to grow. To avoid distractions, pen, notebook, highlighter. Tip number 2, truly be a student and dissect the information. Don't go in with a cup half full or full. Go in with a completely empty cup. I don't care if you feel like you know it. I don't care if, no. You don't know anything. And if you want to go above and beyond, write down your understanding of it. Write it down in your own words. Truly the process of, like how I said, being the student. And number 3 is simply just apply that knowledge. Apply that knowledge, because if it's not applied, then it's not useful. And don't get impatient trying to skip through the process of it. You just want results fast, or you think you already know something, or none of that. Because if you truly already knew it, then you'd be on the level of the person writing that book. And maybe they could give you a different perspective on something that you think you already know. And that's how you retain information and guide yourself towards success, with reading books, making it more interesting, especially if you're somebody like me that has ADHD and all that stuff, or has ADHD like tendencies. But yeah, man, that's pretty much it. Mad love. Peace.